Good morning, CMSW. The U.S. has just finished elections and millions of men
and women turned out to vote. But did you know that it wasn't until August 1920 that women were legally able to vote?
That happened when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution passed.
But more about that in a moment. First, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Back to the story of how women got the right to vote. The battle for getting the vote for women in the U.S. started with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who was born on November 12, 1815.
Her parents encouraged her to be active in the anti-slavery movement, but when she quickly became frustrated.
Why? Because as a woman, she couldn't even attend events like anti-slavery conventions.
Only men were allowed to do so. She couldn't get into an anti-slavery convention in London, but she did meet another excluded woman, Lucretia Mott, who shared her views about the lack of rights for women.
In 1848, the two women held the first women's right convention in Seneca Falls.
No men were allowed in until the second day of the convention.
Yep, payback. By 1851, Stanton had met Susan B. Anthony, and the two women turned their focus to voting rights for women.
They realized that in order for women to succeed in making changes to the law, that they had to be able to vote.
They weren't getting too far with getting women the vote, but Elizabeth Cady Stanton did not give up.
She realized that although she couldn't vote, she could run for Congress. So she ran for Congress in New York State, making history as the first woman to run for office.
She actually won 24 votes out of the 24,000 votes cast by the men allowed to vote.
So, somewhere in New York, 24 men made a little history of their own, casting the first ever ballots for a female.
It would be another 50 years before a woman won a seat in Congress. As hard as she worked, Elizabeth Cady Stanton did not live long enough to see women get to vote.
She died in 1902, 18 years before the 19th Amendment was passed.
But she did fire up a whole generation of women who kept on doing the work needed to give women the vote.
And got the 19th Amendment passed, which changed history in the United States. Next up, a message from Mrs. Balsarac.
She is looking for creative students to be part of the yearbook staff this year.
If you're interested, come to the yearbook Win B session on either November 17th or November 20th.
Hey Westies, are you interested in becoming a leader within our school community? Then you should consider joining Student Council.
In Student Council, you will work with Ms. Flowers and Ms. Rindy to ensure the students' voice is heard loud and clear throughout our school and community.
If interested, email Ms. Rindy or Ms. Flowers via email.
Or look for an upcoming WIN session titled Student Council.
Last but not least, the jokes. What do hungry computers eat?
Chips, one bite at a time. What did the turkey say to the computer?
Google, Google, Google. What do you call a singing computer?
Adele. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times.
Okay, so we're not as good as Adele.
But at least we tried.
That's our show for today, Westies.
Have a great day.
Bye.